everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are well. This week looks like it's going to be much sunnier than last week, so as we know by now that when it's sunny I'm happy, when it's not then I'm kind of in misery. I'm sorry, but it's the way it's gonna be. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Heather. I am a professional viola player. I was freelancing here, there and everywhere before this whole situation occurred, but I like to make videos which are all about the music industry kind of in general and life as a freelancer, what it's like, what you can expect, what actually isn't true. I think there's so much mystery surrounding this industry, and when you're going into it you don't really know what you're going into, and to be honest I kind of want to change that. So yes, if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, please do subscribe to my channel, like this video, ring the bell, do all the things, and I'm going to be making lots more videos in the weeks and months to come, so stay tuned for that. This video is my next in a little series that I've been doing throughout the month of June, all about music college and life at music college, what it's like, what it's not, picking the right teacher, all of those things. I will have all those videos linked below. So if you are somebody who is thinking of going off to music college, maybe you're there at the moment and you're not sure what it's going to look like when things, get back to normal, then I urge you to go and check those out. I have tried to make them as kind of informative as I possibly can. They're all just based on my own experience, having been through the music college system, come out the other end and managed to make a career. So, which is, always nice. We like it when these things work out. My mum actually made an interesting comment the other day that she sort of wishes she could have watched these videos as a parent before I went off to music college. So if you know somebody who's maybe got kids that are thinking of going down that route, then please do send them this way. Like I said, I genuinely just want these videos to be helpful. Now, I've been a little bit not nervous about filming this video, but this is one of the videos when I first came up with the idea of starting this channel, I knew that I wanted to do at some point. Again, just because music college is this kind of mystical place that nobody really knows what's going on. Everybody has lots of ideas of what they think it's going to be like, or you may not even be a musician and you're just watching this because you're interested. If you are, welcome, love that you're here. And I just wanted to talk through what my experience was like. Obviously, this is just my personal experience. It might be completely different to what you experienced, to what your friend experienced, what your teacher experienced, whatever. So please do bear that in mind. Overall, really, really fun. One of the best things about my first week of college was realizing that, in all the movies and films, particularly ones set in America that go into a drama school or whatever, and everybody's singing in the corridors and practicing and all over the place. It really is like that. That is what happens. People are warming up in the lift as they go up to their singing lesson. The stairwell was a favorite place to practice for a lot of people. It really is like that. So that was a part that was quite funny. So I studied at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, or RWCMD, which to be honest isn't much easier to say, so we just say Royal Welsh, and I will probably refer to it as Royal Welsh from this point on. But we had an SU that was fairly decent sized, really, for the amount of students that were at the college, and we had a really, really good bar there. The cafeteria section was a little hit and miss, I'll be honest. We either had calamari and really fancy stuff, or it was beans and chips and cheese, and that was it. So that was a little hit and miss, but the area itself was definitely somewhere where we all just kind of went to chill out. Like I said, the bar was really good, it was pretty cheap, so most people would just crash there after what felt like very, very long days and just kind of have a drink and a chill out there rather than going into town. So yeah, we were very, very lucky with having that facility. We were also really lucky just with the staff that worked at the college. Like I said, the barmen were really nice. They were really they were quite a pair. They were quite funny, but yeah, they were just really cool guys. The people that worked in the cafeteria would always remember if you were a tea or a coffee person. And then the porters still say hi to me now if I bump into them in town. So getting to know all of them was actually really, really cool and definitely contributed to my experience of it being quite a positive environment overall. Getting to know the porters was actually something that I'm really glad I took the advice of an older student on. Not only is it really nice to have somebody who's fairly happy to see you at 7:30 a.m. when you turn up to practice, but also the porters have quite a lot of sway, you start discovering as you go through the system, and so having them on your side is never a bad thing. Now, obviously, the atmosphere was not always positive. Music college is very intense in its very, very nature. So there obviously was an atmosphere of a little bit of stress and kind of busyness and general hubbub around the place, but I'll get into that more later. Something that became very apparent to me as I chatted to friends that had gone down the university route rather than going to music college was that they are absolutely not the same experience. My average day was about 12 hours long, and that would consist of practice, orchestral rehearsals, lectures, master classes, performance classes, chamber coaching. Yeah, you get the picture. So there was a lot of contact time. Whereas friends of mine at uni would have maybe between like 5 and 10 hours a week of contact time. So there was definitely a very, very different structure to the term and just to your daily life. So music college is intense, but kind of the way I saw it was that I absolutely got my money's worth. Like, higher education is really expensive. It's thousands of pounds. And the amount of input that I had definitely felt like my money went to good use. So that was really nice. Now, I do want to make it very, very clear that I am in no way saying that music college is better than university. A lot of people hold that opinion, and I disagree. Music college is just different. You go to music college to study a very, very practical vocational degree. My degree is in playing my viola. I got trained to do that and to continue to improve as you go through life and all of those things. Whereas at uni, you get to study the academic side of music a lot more than you do at college. At music college, the emphasis is absolutely on the practical side of being a musician, whereas at university, you get to study more of the history and you might do a bit more composition and you get a bit more of an, like I said, academic side of things. So the best place to go is simply the place that caters to what you want to do best. For example, I went to music college because I wanted to play afterwards. I wanted to be in orchestras and perform and all these things. Whereas my brother, my eldest brother, is an incredible musician, and he decided to go to uni because he was more interested in the academic side of things and all the harmony and all that jazz and orchestration and everything in that world. And he's now a full-time composer. So different routes, same industry, different careers along the way. We just picked the things that would work best for us. He always says that he could never have gone to music college. He wouldn't have enjoyed it at all. And I'm the same with university. It just wouldn't have been as well suited to me. I don't particularly enjoy the academic side so much. It's something that I have to really push myself to do and to research and all of those things. So it's simply about where your interests lie. Work really, really, really hard. And I shall elaborate on that one. There's the expectation from your fellow students, not just the teachers, that you're going to work really hard. Missing lectures is not cool. And people who sort of get a reputation for never really being around at things often found that they didn't really integrate into the community as well. Our attendance also impacted what ensembles we were either selected for or our seating within them and all that kind of stuff. So turning up to every single lecture or every masterclass and things was really important and really valued. Also, there was the expectation to be very punctual, and you had to be on time, and by on time that meant 15 minutes early. Because again, it's not cool to waste people's time. And for example, if somebody was late to an orchestral rehearsal and everybody's on stage, everything, and they try and like sneak in, they would be openly sort of told off in front of the whole orchestra, which can be up to about 100 people. And if they made a habit of being late, then they would be taken out of that project, which again was just was not a good thing, which may seem very intense and quite harsh. And it is intense, yes, but in the industry, time is money, and if you turn up late, you will not be hired back by that ensemble. It's as simple as that. And if you're turning up for a recording late, you just won't be let into the studio. Like that, the red light is blinking, you ain't getting into that room. So it's really, really important lesson to learn as early as possible. So whilst, yeah, it is intense and it's a bit much, I kind of agree with it. Going to as many concerts as you can is also something that is presumed you'll do, and is something that I wish I'd done a little bit more. At Royal Welsh, we were lucky enough to have this incredible concert hall. So some of the artists that came and played there were just phenomenal. And also we got discounted tickets for the BBC National Orchestra of Wales, or BBC Now. And I went to a lot of the concerts, but I didn't go every Friday evening, which is what a lot of people did. And I kind of wish I had, because tickets were like £3. Like, that's ridiculous. And similarly to the lectures and everything, our head of strings would definitely take note of who was at the concerts, who was attending these things, and although no one would ever say that that directly impacted on orchestral placements and all that kind of stuff, it definitely played a part, because the people that were taking their time there really seriously were the ones that were at those concerts. Music college in its very nature is competitive. You're competing with each other for orchestral placements, places in orchestras, in projects, and all that kind of stuff. There are also performance classes where you perform solo work with accompanist in front of your peers, and then the floor is opened up for everybody to critique you. Man, that was fun. So in short, yes, it is competitive. I remember once finding a girl listening outside the practice room of the new girl who had just transferred to the college, and she was listening outside the door, and she was looking quite worried because this said new girl was extremely good. And she was a bit worried about this because she thought that she might be better than her, effectively. And then the new girl made a bit of a mistake as she was practicing, and this girl who was listening outside the door just went, "Oh, good, that's all right then," and walked away. And I remember just being like, not overly pleasant, but unfortunately that is true of quite a lot of people. However, not everybody is like that, so please don't be completely put off. Those people exist, and we just kind of let them do them and not really worry about it too much. Once you realise that everybody has little insecurities and a good attack of the imposter syndrome, see my video on that up here, you realise that your peers are not nearly intimidating as you might first think. Also, don't worry about marks too much. Now, obviously, strive to do the best you can. That is important. But you don't need to tell anyone what marks you got if you do not want to, because you're not there to be the best player at your college. You are there to get better. And a lot of people can get so fixated on their achievements within the college bubble that then when they leave that environment, they really, really struggle. So just focus on you, focus on what you need to do to improve, and let the competitive other people asking about what mark you got to the exact number, just don't worry about all that. Try and stay out of the politics as much as you can. Be really nice. Music colleges are really, really small, and they will find out what you have said about them at some point or another. I definitely got sucked into the more negative side of the chat, and it's something that I definitely regret because I said some things that were not helpful. At the end of the day, I think we all needed to have a bit of a vent, and you find an outlet for it. But do your absolute best not to gossip, not to talk behind people's back, because like I said, they will find out, and it will be tricky because it is such a small group of people. You don't really want to have any enemies. Being nice is extra important because you never know when you might meet that person or when said person will be fixing for an orchestra in the future. So be careful of the impression you give people. It is very, very difficult to get yourself out of that box if people have kind of put you aside as somebody who's maybe a bit like backbitey and all that kind of stuff. So just be very, very careful. There were definitely people at college when I was there who were incredible players, but nobody wanted to work with them because they were quite frankly so far up their own backsides they couldn't see the light of day. So not so good when you're going into an industry that relies on people wanting to work with you. Chances to actually socialise are something that vary wildly from college to college, and people that I've chatted to who went to different colleges around the country have very different experiences of this. But at Royal Welsh, like I said, we had a really good SU with a really good bar, so there was definitely a culture of heading down there of an evening and kind of chilling out and having a chat and having a drink before you went home. College was our lives. Your life kind of centered around it. So naturally that kind of ended up being where we socialized as well. We also had a week once a term which was called Repco Week, and I can't for the life of me remember what that stood for, but there we go. And this was a week which was purely filled with student-led projects. So lots of concerts and different shows and all that kind of stuff. So these weeks were really interesting because it sort of split college into two camps. You either had the people who were like, brilliant, a week off, I don't have to do anything, because everything was a volunteer kind of basis. And then you had the other people who were like, I have 7 concerts in 5 days and I have zero idea how that's going to work. These weeks ended up being one of the best resources we had for building contacts with your fellow musicians. Because as a viola player, I was a very highly sought after commodity for these things, so I could be a little bit more choosy about what projects I wanted to get involved with. And one of my absolute highlights was we put on a production of Carmen, which is one of my absolute favourite operas, and was just so much fun to do because it was just us putting it together. It's not like any of us were being marked on it, I don't think. The conductor might have been. It was just a bit more, a chance to chill out and have fun with it. But this leads on to my next point, which is make friends with the conducting students. Now, obviously you don't force it, but when they graduate, they're going to be working with different orchestras and choirs and things, and they are going to need players. So you want to be one of the people that they think to book. You want to be one of those people that was always helpful to them when they were putting on these projects and didn't just turn them down every time. You'll have a front seat input into so many projects. And this is kind of one of my biggest pieces of advice for people at music college is take as many opportunities as you can without burning yourself out. It's important to know your limit and know when to say no, but don't be afraid to stretch outside your comfort zone and try new opportunities, because it's such a good opportunity to stretch yourself and to find out what you really enjoy working on and what you don't, because that can be invaluable once you get out into the industry and you start exploring different work streams. You'll also find that on leaving college, you'll have a whole host of experiences and rep and different things that you've worked on that somebody that just stayed in their practice room the whole time ain't gonna have. In the professional world, most of the time, nobody cares where you studied. And if you think about it logically, you've got two people. One person went to a college with a really lofty reputation. They've been around for thousands of years and, all of that jazz. And then you've got the other person who maybe went to a less well-known music college. But the latter outperforms or outplays the first person. Who are you going to hire? You're going to choose the best player at the end of the day. So no matter where you go to college, it's up to you to make the most of it. Also, college is just it's your time to practice. You will never have this amount of time to just focus on yourself and be quite selfish with your time ever again. So really, really make the most of that. Also, what I was saying about attending concerts and lectures plays into this as well. You will never have this resource of being able to go and see these things so cheaply, if not for free, ever again. So just be a little sponge and soak up as much as you possibly can. And once you've gotten through all of that, it is so worth it. Music college was one of the most challenging, intense, but ultimately rewarding experiences that I'll probably ever have. It's an absolute hot pot of creativity and intense growth and learning, and that can result in some very stressed, very burnt out people, and there is a negative side to all of that. But ultimately, going through that experience means that you get to be a professional musician, and that is really, really flipping cool. Like, I love my job and I miss it hugely at the moment, and without music college, without my experience there, I wouldn't be doing what I am today. So enjoy it, make the most of it, and remember that eventually the performance classes do end. Eventually. I hope this video was really helpful, just in terms of a little bit of an insight into my experience at college. Like I said at the start, this is just my experience. If your experience was totally different, then please do comment it below, let people know. But equally, if you had a really negative experience at music college, then, you know, I'm really sorry for that, but please don't let that completely tarnish your opinion of the music industry, I guess. I remember being told before I went, and I remember thinking at the time and being a bit like, oh, that's a bit intense. But music college will either make you love your instrument more and just make you realise that this is the only thing you could ever do, or it will completely put you off and you'll never want to touch your instrument again. And I definitely had people just in my year who fell into both camps. For me, I was very, very lucky in that music college made me love what I did even more and made me realise, it really affirmed that that was what I wanted to do in the future. Which may come as a surprise to some people that knew me at college, because I wasn't the best player by any means, but I learned what I needed to do to improve, and I think, you know, I'm starting to get there now. So that meant that I was able to go into an industry and a career that I absolutely adore. So like I said, I'm very grateful to Royal Welsh and to, you know, the whole idea of music college, because it gave me that. Please do like this video and subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed it. It really, really does support getting this kind of information out there. And like I said, I feel quite passionately that there isn't enough of it available to musicians in general at the moment. So yeah, I hope to see you at the next one. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you really, really soon. Bye guys. The cafetiera. Can you hear that? Ice cream van. Really helpful. Do be pet. Do be. Oh my gosh, I can't say that.